Okay, so generative AI. Everyone's talking about it. But today, we're going deep on how it's shaking things up in research, especially for academics, the folks who publish all those papers.
It's a whole new world out there.
It is. So we're diving into Louis Guiray's article, Negative Effects of Generative AI on Researchers. It's in the Journal of Applied Learning and Teaching.
Oh, yeah, I came across that one. Really got me thinking.
Right. And the interesting thing is Jerry is an early career researcher himself, so he's really in the thick of it, dealing with this AI boom firsthand.
And he doesn't hold back either.
Not at all. He jumps right into some potential downsides of AI,
Hmm.
particularly for academic integrity.
Yeah, like, how's this going to work with the whole publish or perish pressure that's always been a thing? But AI just throws a whole other wrench into the works.
That's exactly what your tray tackles. And it's almost like AI makes that pressure even worse. It's like this tempting
Oh,
shortcut.
totally. Why spend months on research when AI could whip up a paper in, what, a few days?
Exactly. But the problem is, like Giray points out, rushing to publish can lead to some iffy practices.
Oh, I bet. Like what?
Well, he talks about this one researcher who's published over 150 papers since 2023.
Seriously, 150 since 2023? That's like...
I know, right? And a lot of these papers were on completely different topics. Some even had these titles that just screamed AI generated.
You get what I mean? Like, so obvious.
Totally. And it just makes you wonder about the motivation there. Is it really about advancing knowledge? Or is it just about racking up those publications?
Mhm. It's a good question. And I can see how AI could make it even harder for certain researchers, too. Like non-native English speakers trying to get published in those top journals.
It's true. They might feel more pressure to use AI just to level the playing field, even if they have reservations.
And that's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying, are we even incentivizing the right things in academia? I mean, are we rewarding deep, thoughtful research?
Or just rewarding speed and quantity? It's a tough question.
It is. And that brings us to Gary's next point, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Have you heard of that one?
Oh, yeah. Isn't that where people overestimate their own abilities in areas where they're, well, not so skilled?
Exactly. And AI plays right into that, especially in research. Imagine you're a researcher and AI helps you create this amazing paper, right? It's tempting to feel like a genius.
You start thinking, wow, I'm good. But the AI has masked all that effort and expertise that goes into real research.
Right. You're confusing fluency with mastery. And you forget that AI is basically just spitting back information, not really understanding it.
That's a really good way to put it. It reminds me of this one time I was using Grammarly.
Who hasn't?
Right. Anyway, I was so impressed with how it cleaned up my writing that I almost missed this huge factual error.
Oh, no.
I know. Luckily, I caught it. But it made me realize how easy it is to get overly reliant on these tools. You start trusting them too much.
And Jury gives all these examples of that happening in academia. He mentions this environmental engineering student, Mike.
What happened?
So Mike submitted this AI-generated work, and technically it was sound, but it lacked any kind of personal reflection. Like, there was no so what to it.
The AI had done all the heavy lifting, but there was no critical thinking, no real insight.
Exactly. And that's the danger of becoming too reliant on these quick fixes. It can actually stunt your growth as a researcher.
So it's like we're trading actual skills for the ability to use AI,
Yeah.
even in research.
And that takes us right to Jerry's last big point, which is skill erosion. Like, is AI making us, I don't know, intellectually lazy, even in academia?
He even admits AI seriously sped up his writing. But then he started wondering, is he really getting better as a writer? Or just better at using AI?
Yeah, it's like all those shortcuts. They make things easier, but do they make us better? It makes me think about desirable difficulties.
Desirable difficulties. Okay. Yeah, you have to explain that one.
So it's this idea that, yeah, sometimes learning is tough, but those challenges are what make us really learn and grow.
Okay, I get it. Like learning a new language. You don't just wake up fluent, right? You have to put in the work, make the mistakes.
Exactly. Same with research. You have to brainstorm, outline, write, revise, all that. It's how you get good.
But AI kind of skips over all that, doesn't it?
It can, yeah. And Jure has these examples, like these Chinese researchers who used ChatGPT to write their intro, like word for word.
No way.
Yeah.
Did they at least try to hide it?
Nope. They even left in that little chatbot phrase at the beginning.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. And nobody noticed. What about peer review?
That's the thing, right? It's almost like we're getting so focused on speed and automation, we forget the basics of good research.
It's like we're blinded by the shiny new tool.
Exactly. And to make matters worse, there was another paper where they included actual AI chatbot responses in their discussion section.
Wait, seriously? Like unedited chatbot stuff?
Straight up. No attempt to integrate it or anything, and that's what worries me.
It feels like we're blurring the lines between what's human and what's machine.
Right. And in the process, we might be sacrificing quality. Gira uses a really good analogy for this, talking about King Midas.
The guy who wished everything he touched turned to gold.
Yeah, him. Seemed great at first, but then he couldn't even eat. Or hug his daughter. Everything was just cold, hard gold.
So you're saying AI is like that, turning research into something sterile.
It could be, if we're not careful. AI can feel like this magical solution, but we have to ask ourselves, are we losing something in the process?
So it's like we're trading real research for the academic equivalent of fast food. Convenient, sure, but not exactly good for you in the long run.
And just like you wouldn't want to live on fast food, we can't let AI become a crutch for researchers.
It's about remembering what we love about research, right? Digging into a question, figuring things out, crafting an argument. That's the good stuff.
Exactly. And that's where those desirable difficulties come in, those challenges. They're what make us better researchers.
But the pressure to publish is real. And AI is right there, offering that tempting shortcut. So how do we change that mindset?
Honestly, I think it starts with recognizing that those struggles, those challenges, they're not the enemy. They're how we grow.
So we need to value deep thinking, even if it doesn't lead to a ton of publications.
Absolutely. We should be asking, what did we learn? How does this help our field? How can we make it matter?
Not just how fast can we get this published.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, AI can be part of that shift.
What do you mean?
What if, instead of replacing human intellect, we use AI to boost it?
Like using AI to make research more accessible, breaking down language barriers.
Exactly. Or to analyze huge amounts of data, finding connections that would take humans forever.
Now that's exciting.
Yeah.
But it also means we have to be active participants in this AI thing, not just letting it happen.
We need to understand these tools inside and out, their limitations, their biases,
And always be asking those tough questions about ethics, about transparency.
holding ourselves accountable, making sure AI is making research better, not tearing it down. Remember that researcher is a craftsperson idea?
Yeah, bringing that same care and skill to our work, even with AI.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up, I think that's the big takeaway. AI is powerful, but it's just a tool. It's up to us, the researchers, to use it wisely.
To build a future where good research still matters, where quality and integrity are still the goals.
Absolutely. Okay, folks, that's it for our deep dive on AI and research. Let's keep those brains engaged and keep those questions coming. Until next time.